We always have our wonderful prayer group on Mondays at 5 o'clock in the back room, and amazing things happen right in the moments of those prayers being said, as well as the after effects of it. So you're welcome to come to that prayer group and or to put your prayers in the brown wooden box in the back, it's in the back right now, right? We take those prayers and pray over them and then send them to the Unity headquarters to be prayed for. Let's see, another great thing that's coming up this coming weekend is Ashland's own Gay Pride on Saturday. So Unity usually marches in it, and we would like to talk to you afterwards. Well, let me just see a show of hands if anybody would say right off the bat that you'd be willing to march with our Unity banner in it. Okay, quite a few, great. It's Saturday morning that we would get together. I believe the parade starts at 10:30, and they're saying to meet around by the library. It's going to be a short parade, apparently. And then there are festivities at the band shell afterwards. Okay. Another set of announcements has to do with our Unity business. We had you vote, and some of you joined in order to be able to vote on a change in our bylaws. And the change passed, 35 votes were cast, and it passed unanimously, and we gained 21 new members. So we're really glad about that process. Thank you so much. Did any of you see the sneak preview yet this week? Yes, we have a little article in it. Yes, it was great. And the front page, yes. And then, you know, the locals guide, right? We're going to have the centerfold in the locals guide. You know, how you could get interviewed and have a whole big long article about Unity. We're going to highlight things that we do here, including our children's program. So the next, I think it's being written in the November issue. So get a whole bunch of copies of it and share them with lots of people, okay? And then one other important Unity announcement is that every year we like to do something really special with all of us together on Christmas, in the Christmas season. Last year we went to the Ashland Springs Hotel, and many people really enjoyed that. We have live music and wonderful food, so we wanted to do a party like that again. This year it will be on December 13th. And we're announcing it way ahead of time because we'd like to raise $520 to help pay for it, you know, to pay for the room, etc. And we've already raised $150 of that $520, but we want to take a special offering at different times leading up to it so that we can pay for it. But also where this offering will go is for scholarships for some people who might not be able to afford it. So we'd like to give partial scholarships or, you know, help to people who can't afford it. So $10 per person for the first 20 people who ask for it.
There's a glass bowl on the back table to collect it.
Okay, so there's a glass bowl where you can put that special offering already.
And if they're going to write a check, they need to put it in the memo that it's for the Christmas party.
Okay, if you write a check, put in the memo, this is for the Christmas party. So we'd love to have your support both in attending this and, you know, being together and telling friends that you maybe haven't seen at Unity for a while that we're having this wonderful Christmas party. It's an interactive and really fun event where you get to know one another better and just be in the celebrative spirit. So mark that on your calendars. Now, the final announcement is about Gary being here with us this morning. It's so exciting. I don't know if Gary remembers. I think you do, but I met you many years ago in LA at a funeral, right? Remember of Vita's mom and your ex-partner's mother. Yes, and so we met in a deep ceremony and a sense of really wonderful connection. I remember having a long talk with you, and I didn't really know who you were in that sense. We met in a private setting, you know. But then I was a hospice chaplain here, and I discovered Gentle Passages, Graceful Passages. Graceful Passages. How many people here have heard about his album, Graceful Passages? It was fabulous, and it went viral. and went to hospices and people dealing with death and dying all over the country, all over the world. Well, Gary is a fabulous musician and a spiritual being who has affected the lives of many. And I'm so thrilled to have him here today. He's been in corporate settings, and so he was telling me he's got a PowerPoint for us. But not really, it's a spiritual message here, but teasing about that. But he's a wonderful speaker and singer, and this afternoon he's going to have an opportunity to just sing and have a participatory event with Laura DeRocher singing with him. So it's going to be a real treat. You're going to just get your appetite whetted here this morning, and then come back at 4 o'clock and tell others too that at 4 o'clock we'll have a chance to be with him in that other way. So let's give a big welcome to Gary.
See who's here. Hello, Unity Ashland. What a thrill to be here. I came here about 6 weeks ago and did a home concert and kind of wanted to feel the community you've created. I want to give you a caveat before I do this. I'm coming out of the closet as a spiritual being all the way. It actually really happened when I have been committed to spiritual, really bringing in a new spirituality that's inclusive of religion but not defined by it, right? It's been my commitment for the last 15 years. But I realized I've only just started Seed of the Soul just 6 weeks ago when I met Gary Zukoff. He showed up at my home concert. And as I'm reading this book, which I don't know how I missed it, I realized that I've been spiritual conveniently for me when I want to be. And I've been really looking at what it really means to be a spiritual being. And so this is an initiation for me to be with you. I'm starting to have another engagement in Santa Barbara next month, and more I'm going to be speaking and singing. So if I am fall on my face a little bit, well, that's just me being vulnerable and letting you know I'm in a process of letting myself out of that closet, okay? So, and I also, one of the ways I'd like you to forgive me in advance is I am weaning myself, as Norma said, off of a PowerPoint, which tells me what I'm going to say or what I might want to talk about. But I might give you a tease and show you an image and then just go straight on because I've overestimated how much I can share in the time I'm given, okay? So in advance, if you can forgive me for that. And today, I just want to say one overarching comment before I begin, which is, I don't see music as performance or entertainment in the way I do it. I do it as what I call entertainment, right, rather than entertainment. So I really want to encourage, the reason why kirtan took off is the belief in part because Sanskrit is seen like Hebrew as an ancient vibrational language that offers a transmission, right? To me, our job is to infuse the English that we're saying with the authentic intention of our heart and spirit lined up in connection with God. So that connection creates the vibratory equivalent to Sanskrit in Hebrew. Doesn't mean that English doesn't have that also. It matters how we bring it. So I want you to include every song that we're singing, whether you think you can sing or not, you can, trust me, okay? And I'd like you to think of each song as a prayer, and as a prayer to your own heart first and foremost, and then to the community. You guys willing to do that with me? Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, great. So I'm going to start with a song.
Donna, can you turn off the lights? And Gary, I just want to say that
for children.
The children, yes.
Get
like
those
to
children.
Just bless the children and send them on their way into their special teaching and Sunday school class. Thanks, kids, for coming up. Let's sing to them the face of God. We see the face of God in them.
You are the face of God. You in my heart. You are a part
wonderful time with your teachers.
So Laura, if you want to come up and practice this song with me for everyone, the congregation of us, come on up if you want to. If not, we'll just do the other one. So this song was written because co-creative, collaborative, teamwork, family, all that is to me the most important medicine today. So this is about the congregation of us. It's self-explanatory and it's an opener, and you'll get it. And it asks a repeated line, and you'll get it. Here we go. As I walked around this world, I've seen some suffering. So much dark wandering in the darkness and the pain. You can turn the page to the lyrics so they can join us. It's like we're all in one big car, you know, but no one's driving. You know what I'm talking about? And we're heading down a cliff. Like we're insane. And Laura, go ahead and move to the left so we can see them. And it's heading down a cliff. Don't worry, oh, on the other side. See, we're very impromptu here. And we're heading down the cliff. Like we're insane. I keep looking for an answer to the madness.
Feel free to move.
But I just don't wanna do it on my own.
There it is.
Though I'm reaching out my hand for a work together plan, connected to each other by a bone. The congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
We can live without love. We all need the congregation of us. The congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
Of us.
We can live without each other. We all need the congregation of us. As I look around, it seems we're all so different, but our differences fade away like the light of day. As sure as we all know, our hearts are beating. If you feel it, then you know this is the way. So I'm riding out on the road of life with my big family. Sorry. Here we go. And I trust my husband to be my guide. With spirit at my back to help me stay on track. Hang on, it's gonna be a rainbow ride. Congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
Congregation of us.
The congregation of us.
Constellation of us.
The constellation of us.
I'm not reading the lyrics, I'm so sorry. The constellation of us. The conversation of us. The celebration of us. The congregation of us. The constellation of us. The conversation of us. The celebration of us. We don't need what we each have to give. We can live without love, we all need. We can live without each other, we all need. What do we need? The conversation of Without a clicker, this is a great way to wean because it's going to all screwed up today, and it's fine. Yay! So I wanted to. All right. So I'd like to play you something. Excuse me. So this speaks to itself. It's a 1-minute video, and I want you to experience it. Now, let's talk about it a little bit. Less sound up. Louder, louder, please. So how many of you thought that the first half was a different edit or different cut than the second half? Well, tells me how spiritually intelligent you all are. Yeah, so how many of you have had days like that first half? Moments, every day, right? Okay. So there's something so graphic about this video that is a wonderful metaphor, because now we understand scientifically, through the power of the understanding of Bruce Lipton and epigenetics, that biochemically we shift our bloodstream, our biochemical bloodstream, to be either supportive to life or destructive to life, just by how we think. So there's an inner soundtrack, sometimes that we're not even aware of, that is basically looking at the glass half empty and half full. And I know you've heard many talks of this nature, but what we don't realize is that it literally is a soundtrack that's either a tragedy or a comedy or a romance and we actually have our hand on the rheostat at all times, as you well know, right? So I just wanted to, today in this hour together that I'm going to share, I wanted to kind of, if we could just reimagine that the role of music in the arts is more than just the garnish on the main course of life that makes the plate pretty, right? I believe, and I think hopefully you'll see a little bit more of what I'm seeing in this way at the end of the hour, that it's actually the digestive enzyme that enables us to extract the meaning that's on the main course and the plate of life, right? And without the arts, without beauty, without the ability to assimilate the plethora of challenges and beauty and amazing things that we go through, we have a world that is looking very much like the mainstream looks right now, right? Okay? So we're part of a revolution that knows that beauty is not just a lovely doily on the plate, it's actually something that brings us meaning and actually makes a difference in our lives, in our relationships, and in our relationship to spirit. You can go on. Next slide. So I first wanted to honor in that way that, loving what is, being with what is, being present with what is. And by the way, hi. I'm noticing now, this is what the danger is for me. I have these beautiful, beautiful visuals, and it separates me from me and you. So I want you to work with me here because I'm weaning off of that. So let's develop a relationship, and don't let me distract you other than learning the lyrics. And I'm already learning a lot from this experience, and I'm going to get rid of this next time. So I want to just take a moment and be with what is around what your community, an hour away, hour and a half, we just went through. I drove here on Thursday, and Thursday night I went to a sound healing experience with Reverend Lawrence Katz, who's an amazing gift. He'll be doing the invocation today, this afternoon at 4. And I felt the palpable shock that we all, the family of man, are going through. And so I wanted to begin with how music can be utilized like a fork or a crowbar or a hammer, rather than just, that feels good, right? So how many of you have ever heard of I know Norma has, the Tonglen practice? Tonglen is this ancient Buddhist practice, as I understand it, that understands that the heart is a transmutation vehicle. It transforms, it can transform suffering and pain and transmute it and give out and transform it into love. So I want us for a moment, I'm going to be playing the piano first, and I use the meditative style piano as a way to drop in, to bring our energy to the people that are suffering right now, the ones who have lost their children in this horrible shooting Thursday. And I want us to all use the collective energy together and bring our formidable spiritual gifts in alignment with this Tonglen practice. We'll breathe in the suffering and the pain, and we'll breathe out the love. And my friend Michael Stillwater, with whom I created Graceful Passages, wrote this beautiful chant, and I just love it because it just says magic in a community. So, and you can, okay, great. So I want to teach this to you. Because some people say that song is prayer, right? But I think it's prayer when it's combined with our intention. Okay, so it goes like this. Breathe in the pain. Breathe in the pain. Breathe on out the love. Repeat that line. Breathe on out the love. Let my heart be a place where this world is changed forever. That line. Let my heart be a place where this world is changed forever. Okay, so now let's empower this with some of our contemplative practice right now. When you just start doing piano, and I want you to bring them into your consciousness. For now, just keep your eyes closed so you can keep the connection alive with what you're bringing in right now. And let's sing as the transmutation of their suffering and send them out the love that they so dearly need. Breathe in the pain. Breathe on out the love. Let my heart be a place where this world is changed forever. Breathe in the pain. Breathe on out the love. Let my heart be a place where this world is changed forever. So open your eyes if you want to, otherwise stay inside. Breathe in the pain. Breathe on out the love. Let my heart be a place where this world is changed forever. There is a way my spirit can pray for the peace of everyone. With every breath I take, my heart is yearning to make the will of love be done. Breathe in the pain. Breathe on out the love. Let my heart be a place where this world is changed forever. Place where this world is changed forever. There is a way my spirit can pray for the peace of everyone. With every breath I take, my heart is yearning a place where this world has changed. Let my heart be a place where this world has changed. Let my heart be a place where this world has changed. Changed forever. Changed for better.
Changed for better.
Changed forever.
Changed forever.
Peace forever.
Peace forever.
Changed forever.
Changed forever.
Send that energy, that love. They're feeling it. We know that. Oh, sorry, go back. Back a little bit. So the Bhagavad Gita, 5,000 years ago, they asked, what is the most remarkable thing in all the world? And you saw the second side, maybe you saw it, but anybody guess what it might be?
Love. Love.
There are probably many remarkable things in all the world. But the thing the Bhagavad Gita said, that each of us will die, but never any of us think it's going to happen to us. So this has been going on for a long time. You can go ahead to the next slide. Yeah. And I'm just going to go like this, Jane, so it doesn't interrupt the flow. Thank you. So, what this has created, it's been an unbelievable storm, and I'm not, there's no way I'm going to have all the time with all the slides, I can see it now, because I'm so enjoying just being with you. That's the juice here. So, I'll do what I do. But what's so beautiful is that when you combine that with this obsession that the only credible way to communicate is through words or linear rational thought, and you combine that with the fear that nobody ever thinks they're ever going to die, it's a perfect storm, and it's created the chaos that we're actually experiencing today, right? So go to the next. This is probably what many people think. So, Lynn Twist, a dear friend of mine, says that we're never enough. We're living in a scarcity society, and everything's about buying. It's that endorphin rush of getting something. And we're all so addicted to being consumers rather than citizens, right? You can go on. I love so one of you just say another thing that's a common belief about death. Anything, anything that's what?
It's painful.
Well, and also like a colloquial phrase, like anything that that you can think of about death.
Forever.
What about that?
Forever.
What about it?
That's what some people believe that is.
Oh, okay, forever. Okay, yeah.
I know what it has in our cup.
Right, okay, there's all kinds of beliefs about where we go, right? So, here's another one. I love that one. And the next one? I like this one. Now, I want to talk about this one for a second. This is so prophetic. This is so prophetic. And here I am, by the way. Hi. So, what's so prophetic is, that is so true. That is the result of nobody wants to be there when it happens. And I mean the moments when you don't get your parking spot, the moment when you don't get the love you wanted, the moment when you lose your job, the moment when something devastating happens, which inevitably happens because that's what life is. We don't want to be there when it happens. And as a result, we accumulate grief for all the tiny deaths that happen in life every day. And there's a waxy buildup that comes that actually interferes in my ability to be present right now with you. So we don't want to be there when it happens. And that's a problem. And I have a vision, a dream, that the new society that we're building together has a lost literacy as a core human skill built into our educational system from the very first day they go to school. So when a toy is dropped or lost or taken away, a child has a 2-minute process that acknowledges that they're feeling sad, they wish it didn't happen, they forgive, and there's a process. It's lost, what I call lost literacy. It's a book I'm working on. And I'll say more about it later, but I can't hold myself back. I heard a statistic that said that 90% of all violent acts between human beings come from unassimilated or unaddressed grief. Now, hold on here. Think about that for a minute. That means, from the domestic violence to World War, that it's all based, in large part, to people who haven't addressed a grievance or a loss or a grief that they've experienced. And if we could just actually face and turn into the skid of our core avoidance and denial in our culture, and actually develop an understanding, oh, I'm going through a loss right now. Oh, I know what the steps are. I need to breathe, I need to drop in, I need to feel, there's a whole thing you can learn to go through, and everybody does it differently. But there's some core absolutes. And I just want to encourage you to start exploring for yourself. What is loss literacy for you? We're so numb to what just happened in Roseburg, is that the name of it? We're numb. Because we've seen so much of it, it's too painful. Right? Can you go on? Go to the next slide. Yeah, thank you. So we'll just go through these. So the top 3 fears, we all know this. And of course the first one is public speaking. I seem to have missed that one. I don't know quite. Yeah. So we live in this culture. Go ahead, go on. We're going to go fast. Now, I'm going to go really quickly through this because sometimes many people say, well, who are you and what gives you the authority to speak? Well, I've been around 62 years, so that's enough authority for me. But what it is that I grew up in a loving Jewish family, started playing the piano at 5 years. They found me at a friend's house playing a piano. My mother never saw me play. Oh, you can stop right there. So, I was 10 years old. Just give you a little background. Playing piano 5-6 years. And I was homesick, and I was watching this movie. How many people know what this movie is? Right, classic. And the water pump scene is a breakthrough scene. And I was 11 years old, and like most 11 years old, very self-absorbed.
Not everybody knows the movie.
Oh, it's The Miracle Worker, thank you. The Miracle Worker, Van Bancroft, all right. Can you turn the music a little louder?
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller, right. Just a little bit louder. No, it's fine as it is, a little bit softer. All right. There I was 11 years old, completely self-absorbed like most 11 years old. But I had been playing piano for 6 years by then. And I heard this world that a film composer created that defined this world of being lost. Bring it up. Do you notice how the composer just suddenly there's this breakthrough, this heart-opening experience, and then it goes back into this darkness? When we're grieving, when we're in loss, it's dark. We can't find our way. We don't understand. Everything's unfamiliar. We're like little babies in the forest. We need something. We need to know that and not feel like we have to be so strong for a few moments and allow myself to have the experience of tenderness, which enables me to feel. That's what we're here for, to bless each other, to show up for each other, right? So I was 11 years old. Helen Keller is finally breaking through and starting to do sign language. And I sobbed like a baby. I don't think I've ever cried so much in my life. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And it was that moment. Well, go ahead, listen. A little louder. She hugs her parents. You feel that? Houston, we made contact. Ring the bells that still can ring. There is no perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Leonard Cohen. So I've scored 30 years, TV, film, commercials. Anybody know Unsolved Mysteries? You ever heard that TV show? I did the music for that for 15 years. And then I had a fall. I had a blessed life. I was the biggest music production company in the Bay Area, and I had this very serious accident, a bicycle accident, threatened my ability to ever play piano again. And I'd never had a loss other than my father, which was massive to my life in that way. And it was after then that I realized that it woke me up. I went, what a tender thread we're living on. What a fragile thread we're hanging by. And that's when I started to work on the project with Graceful Passages and started to answer the requests to create music in tribute to Spirit. And this one breakthrough happened at Grace Cathedral. Let's just say really quickly, it was a moment when I recognized that who I really am, and in Gary Zukav's terms, my soul's purpose, was to do what I'm doing right now with you. Before that moment, 25 years of self-aggrandizement, 8 Emmys, Clio's, Prophet, all the stuff that really the mainstream says is important, because I didn't know that my value was intrinsic, that everyone has value intrinsically, aside from all those external trappings, right? And so I've been on a journey. And so what I did was Michael and I started out, developed this project called Graceful Passages, and I'm going to go quickly through this. I think, how many have experienced Graceful Passages? I think I need to play I want you to experience it, because it's part of what allows us to crack that heart, that's how the light gets in. So if you can play the next track. So Graceful is basically, and I'm not promoting this work, although what I am is saying that this was the initiatory journey that I went through to wake up to the fact that loss was the greatest catalyst to the most full expression of gratitude and life with appreciation for the preciousness of life I ever imagined. I was like everyone else. I avoided loss like the plague, right? But this process, after my accident of creating this work, I want to play the first track. And I want you to close your eyes. I invite you to close your eyes. For those of you who are visual learners, you'll be seeing a visual. But for those of you who know your audio, I'd like you to uncross your legs, close your eyes, and make sure you empower your experience with lots of breath. And this is a safe space, so I don't know if we have Kleenex tissues, but if you're moved, it's a blessing to cry in this space with us. It's a blessing. If you don't feel comfortable with that, that's fine. If you can play go back. I think I might have gotten rid of it. Did I go back?
I don't see any,
All right, then
play
go on.
button.
Go on. Keep on going down. Keep on going down. I'm going to find that track.
Here?
No, go on. Here we go. The next one.
The next one.
There we
Okay,
go.
there we go.
Don't forget to breathe. Be true to yourself. If you know you're someone that gets distracted by visuals, keep your eyes closed. It's going to be a better experience for you. And if you want the visuals, by all means, look at it.
No one has ever prepared us for this experience. We think it's the end. No. It's another beginning. Another beginning. It's knowing that you're loved. Knowing that you're loved. It's not easy letting yourself be loved. Of course, we've learned to judge ourselves. We're always judging ourselves. learned to listen, that I was loved. I was loved. And then I would forget that I was loved. Those were the most painful times for me. Forgetting that I was loved. So you've let yourself be loved while you've been here. And you've judged yourself. And you've forgotten that you were loved. And you became alone. But you will always be here. You are blessed. You are forgiven. You are an angel. You have to listen that you're loved. And you have to forgive all the time. Listen that you're loved. And forgive all the time. You are love. Farewell, my son. Farewell, my daughter. Farewell, my father. Farewell, my mother. Farewell, my sister. Farewell, my brother. Thank you for letting me love you. Thank you for letting yourself be loved. God bless you.
There's something about the medicine of tribe, of family, of congregation, that enables us to do what we were born to do together. Praise, appreciate, be grateful, connect, and grieve together. It's a blessing to be able to grieve together. And what I didn't know was when we can allow ourselves to really feel the grief, either very personal or very global, our capacity for understanding the preciousness of life becomes not just a concept, but a very lived experience. And I can't tell you that, I lost every penny in the Madoff scandal 7 years ago. Every penny I made, millions of dollars from TV and film. I did over 1,000 commercials. I had the top 10 television show on NBC. I worked my butt off because I believed if only I was rich and famous that I would be finally accepted in my dad's eyes. I wouldn't be this dismissible, wearing your heart on your sleeve. I was always that way at the earliest age, and my dad wondered, fake a lot, He loved me, but he didn't understand. And so I had to prove something to him. and to the world. But I crashed, I burned. So I want to go back. Actually, while we're here, I said that already. Actually, can you go back to the music piece for a bit? So go back, I'll tell you when to stop. So just again, for a little cognitive, go back here. So there we go, that's it. So what is it about music? And you can go to the next slide. So what I learned is that the earliest, well, actually Joanne, the massage therapist here in Ashland, corrected me, that touch is the earliest first sense. But one of the first senses to come into the human species in the womb is sound. And the last sound, the last sense to come when we die has been proven to be whether we're conscious enough to be sound. And so you can go on to the next. And so from the tiniest quark to the largest galaxy, the common denominator is is vibration, right? And you know about, maybe many of you know about heart math, that we emit a toroidal field around us that actually creates a vibrational field that spreads either love or fear, or in every variation you can imagine in between those. So who we are and how we manage our grief and how we manage our joy and how we experience, not to manage your joy, but how we stay grounded has a direct effect on the wholeness of all of us that we're a part of, right? So as a way to, you can go on. No, you can go on, everybody knows that. Okay, all right, so now so Graceful Passages introduced me to this idea because it was ahead of its time. We brought it to an oncology nurses unit for children who were working with basically a 95% mortality rate, leukemia, children with leukemia. We thought we'd give them this gift of allowing them to feel their grief, and we went and gave them Graceful in the beginning, and boy did we were very naive. What we didn't understand was the way they survived was by not dealing with it at all. So when we played that track for this group that we had for a weekend, we had mop-up all weekend. We had no idea a can of worms we opened. And that's when we realized that there was a deficit in people actually being fully human and having the ability, that whole belief that nurses say that don't get personal, keep it arm's length. It's been proven to be much more stressful if you're a caregiver, and to put that wall between you so that you don't get touched. It's actually the energy it takes to not care as a human takes way more energy than to actually be recognizing the fact that there is no separation between me and you. We're one being. So then I'm held by flow and God, and I'm supported. So why is it that the medical system has forgotten that, right? And there's changes going on, big changes. But I want to do an experiment. I do this a lot, and I'm only going to choose one person this time, but I normally do 4 or 5. And I started to explore, how can we be present to what is in a way that allows us to be our full human selves together? And because to me, in that stillness of really getting present to what is, there's some stuff going on being human. And I started to develop this thinking about what I call 5 portal, I'm working with the title 5 portal mindfulness, 5 portal healing. And what it really is being from a spiritual community where spirit rock and insight meditation has been born, there's a lot of people that do the spiritual bypass. A lot. I mean, thank God for John Cornfield. He's so balanced and great and holistic around his Buddhism, but many people just meditate and they just, they work for stillness in the mind. But what does it mean to be really present with all of our capacities, our body, our mind, our heart, our spirit, our soul, the intimate things we love, right? So I wanted to do one experiment. And who would like to read a poem in front of everyone and demonstrate what it might be like? Come. So can you put the music on in the subliminal level so we hear it, but it's not going to overpower the woman speaking on the mic? Yeah, okay. So I started to develop this, what if we needed an enticement? What if beauty could entice us to being mindful in our hearts, mindful in our spirits, mindful in our souls, mindful in our bodies? And what if we put on subliminal music that was designed for meditation, that just gave that little lift of being present fully in ourselves and 51% in our heart rather than 1% or whatever it is. So I want to invite you to just stand for a minute in front of everyone. And just hands down, and just feel the ground under your feet. And looking out who's here at your community. You can feel the center in your dantian right there below your navel. Nice full breath. Feel your heart connected to theirs. Feel your spirit connected to the one, your soul. And just pick one poem and read the poem and allow the music to be like the wind under your wings as part of an assist that helps you be integrated with your body, your mind, your heart, your spirit, your soul. Just bless us with this. The poem is like a vehicle. But you're the flight, you're the angel, you're the delivery system, right?
You're given a mic.
Oh gosh, of course. The point here is being present, right? It's not about the content, it's about who you are showing up in this moment.
These are the words of Mary Oliver. I love this poem.
The music a little lower. No. So how many can you hear the music? Listen. A little bit louder. All right, that's good. Allow the music to be part of what you're listening to, like rubbing your head and your belly at the same time.
I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last, and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
You say that line without reading. Can you do that the last time? Just look at everybody and bless them with that question.
Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
So I've been introducing this. Thank you so much. What is your name, by the way? Alia, thank you. It's beautiful, wasn't it? Very present, she gave us all her whole being, right? That's what the invitation of feeling grief allows us, is that when the grief is finally felt and acknowledged, who shows up? We do, all the way. And we need, in this world, with the amount of interruptions and challenges, why don't you go on and I'll tell you. I come up with a term, keep on going. So that music, what did you feel about that music? Did it support a place of presence? Yeah. It's very hard to find music that actually is not fighting all the plethora of doo-doo in life that we are expected, right? I don't mean doo-doo, that doo-doo, I mean doing. So, we can go on, right? So we can go on. I'm going to move fast now because I have too much here. Oh yeah, go back one. There we go. So I came up with a disorder because nobody pays attention to you unless you call it some sort of disorder. Right? Oh, I have that. That's me. Yeah. In this case, it's an actual disorder that I've noticed. It's the disorder of our time. Many people think, John Gray wrote a new book about ADD. It's the disorder of our time, right? We are fragmented, many of us. And it takes, the culture fragments us. You can go on, thank you. So, what I've already addressed is this concept of tenderness with ourselves, with each other, stillness, you can go on. And if we don't pause multiple times a day and turn our attention to beauty, to that which inspires us and touches us and moves us and connects us with each other, our pauses could look more like this. Go on. Like that. I had many pauses like those in my life, and frankly, I'm really done with 2x4 change. I've had very dramatic pauses in my life like that, and how many can relate to that? I mean, all right, you can go on. So what's really interesting is that when you fill those pauses with an awareness of what makes your heart sing, what touches you and moves you, it's that energy and that medicine of what you love that becomes the catalyst for you actually waking up to who you really are. So you press the next one to see. So what is it for you? You know, if we had more time, I would actually ask you to go in inquiry, because there are many things we love. But what are some of the things that really make you who you are? That this is, for me, it's nature, right? Music. Okay. So it's not for sissies to start to identify what really moves you. It's actually a very big practice, and I encourage you to explore that. And there's even science on it. You can go on. But I love this quote. And so I'm going to go to the next one, and I'm going to do a song. So before I do the song, I want to share with you one thing. To go to the next one, thank you. I really get that I don't want to ever do this again. This is too much visual. So you're witnessing me in progress. Thank you, because I just want to be with you. I noticed that. So keep on going. I want to show you one thing. This is the next one. The next one? Sorry? Okay, so a cool thing happened, and I just want to express this to you. So I've been on this journey the last 15 years. It's at Graceful Passages, which has touched 500,000 people in the world. I mean, it's the greatest blessing in my life. You know, I've done tons of very, famous TV commercials and stuff like that. Nothing has given to me. Like, I go somewhere and you created Graceful Passage. You know, with Michael Stillwater, we co-created the vision, and I wrote the music and discovered this genre. When you chelate, it's a medical term, I love this new term, I love using it. But when you use music, the film scoring is the quiet partner that keeps the largest export of America alive. The media business is the largest export, right? Well, the quiet reason that is so. Can you imagine seeing Star Wars without a musical score? We go to suspend disbelief. Well, we are trained to listen to film score quality music and feel what's going on, and we're in there, right? Well, my dream is to have alchemical wisdom, this genre that you've heard today, be a new genre that actually understands that we need to feel what we're speaking when it matters. And that's what this is all about for me. So as part of that journey, don't have time to tell you the whole thing, but I'll just say I found a man in Amsterdam that created a new tuning system where all the notes are divisible by 9. 9 being the note, the number of stillness, the number of Fibonacci sequence, for those of you know, the number of Pythagorean tuning, sacred geometry. And all I can tell you is when I played this piano, it was like cancer in an alkaline environment. I couldn't have any perfectionistic self-critic, inner ego stuff going on at all. And I went, I gotta have this. So the next work that I'm releasing is this, and I want you to be my first audience in the world to experience this release. It's a 46-minute meditation, and I want you to press the next one. There we go, now let the music play. It should come on, and you can turn it up. Is there sound? There we go. So I used a drone created by some shamanic teachers that I love very much, which has a very big power in itself. And I used piano tuned to the Divine 9 tuning. And just close your eyes for a minute and see what, you can lower it a little bit. Feel, what do you notice? You're my first guinea pigs. Let's have a moment. This is the meditation. inside your heart? Say it again.
Antenna.
Antenna.
Heart.
Heart.
Harmony.
Harmony.
Celestial.
Celestial. Integration. Space.
Expansion.
Expansion. Connection.
Letting go.
Letting go. Vibration.
Simplicity.
Simplicity.
Tenderness.
Tenderness.
Calmness.
Calmness.
Resting.
Resting. So, because I'm going to do something I've never done before, but I'm going to give this 46-minute track to your community in the Senate, and I'm going to give it as a gift to all of you. And we're launching it. We don't know. We think we're going to give it away to places, but we're also going to build something that's going to be for sale. But I want you to be, since it's the first time I'm sharing it, I'd love you to experience it, and for treatments, massages, whatever, and tell me what you think, what you feel, more importantly, okay? You can fade it out a little bit because it'll be coitus interruptus if we take it out, right? Or I shouldn't say that in a unity church. Sorry. All right, the next, I'm going to complete now because I've been given 2 reports that it's either 11:45 or 12, so I'm going to, because we're winding up, I want to end with my song that is kind of my signature. And I love that we preceded the song with the Divine Non-Tuning because I have been the one that needs this work most. You know, the wounded healer, the one that teaches what you need to learn most. I have been a human doing and still continue to struggle with it my whole life. I'm, type A, right? But what I'm finally beginning to know is that when I get quiet, instead of having to go out in order to get it, I feel like a pilot light has been lit, and I'm finally feeling like spirit's connected, and I don't have to go. All I have to do is drop in. And that's what I meant why I'm in this whole renaissance of spirituality, and you guys are helping me claim that. And I want to thank you for that, really. I want to share this last song because it's very special to me, and I've sung it all over the world. 8 years ago, I had my only sister, who I adore, died of brain cancer. And I brought her into my home, and I took care of her for 14 months as she made her transition. And there's a lot of living that goes on in the dying process, and we got unbelievably close. One of the things that I learned is that she had no interest in listening to my music. It was so fascinating. I was just like, let's put it on in the background, and she's recovering, and she's she couldn't talk yet. And when my daughter said, Dad, she doesn't want your music, I thought, how could that possibly be? It's beautiful, And then the next day, the chaplain came to our whole community, and we're all mostly Jewish and Buddhist, and she said, can I help you all pray? And I just went, maybe. Why don't you take me first, one-on-one? She goes privately. I wanted to test her out, and she goes right into a Jesus prayer, which is, I love Jesus Christ, but it wouldn't have been appropriate with that group. And that was me I was imposing my music on myself. It was a beautiful lesson. It was great. So, in the days that she was recovering from the first surgery, I went, she's the most important person in my life, in terms of a sibling, a peer. And I said, God, I want you to give me a song, and I don't want to work for it, the ennobling of the Jewish ennobling of suffering. It's going to be really hard this time, and I'm going to really, get good kudos from it. So every day, and she was in the hospital for 10 days, I would go and take a walk, and a line would come to me. And that's how this song came. So I want to offer it. I'm going to do a cappella for a second. I'm going to go to the piano. And all of this is about remembering who we are. The sun comes up, I hear a cry. A baby's born, I see her eyes. We're made of grace and a wisp of stars. Do you remember who you are? We take first steps and we fall each day. Then we take that breath to go on our way. We're made of hope and a wisp of stars. Do you remember who you are? Seasons come and seasons go, like clouds pass through the sky. First we're born and then we go, without ever knowing why. We have this moment, we have each other, we have this breath of life that's gone. In a blink of an eye, we fill our days with endless goals. Yet we search and pray to find our souls. We're made of grace and song and a wisp of stars. Remember who you are. Plant a seed and watch it grow. A flower blooms, but the petals know we're a flash of light and a wisp of stars. Do you remember? Will you remember? Will we remember who we are? Now all together it goes like this. We will remember who we are. 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 About yourself. We will remember who we are. We will remember who we are. We're a flash of light and a wisp of stars. Will you remember who you are? Thank you so much.
It's a beautiful time together. Thank you.
I have a thousand for that.
Okay. So, okay. Oh, thank you so much. And now is the time to take our offering. I ask you to be seated again. And thank you for contributing with your time and talent and energy that comes by way of the green stuff to helping Unity in Ashland be this sacred container for experiences like this.
This is dedicated to your community as we're offering. Oh, I love your ways. Oh, I want to spend my days in your warm embrace. Feel your grace, fill my time. Oh, I've seen you laugh and cry. Oh, I've seen you like the sky. I've learned to love your gentle ways and know your courage. I'm just going to go right to the closing song. Yeah? Closing song?
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
We're going to bless the offering and get in a big circle.
All right. I feel like I want to do something you all can sing, though. That's why I feel.
Yeah.
So, how about?
We can do that as soon as we bless the offering. Okay.
All right, good.
Thank you for your gifts, support this community. Thank you for giving a great value received. Bless the offering by rubbing our hands together and feeling our energy. Knowing that divine love
Through
me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. So it is. Now let's all stand up and get in a big circle around the whole room. It's a wonderful time to see each other. Appreciate it.
So actually, this song is perfect for the closing, and it's the final result of everything that I've talked about tonight and today. And I'd love you to learn it and not necessarily look at the screen once you've gotten it. It goes like this. I am grateful for the skies up above. Can you do that? I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And now the Jews say, and when things fall apart, I'll say, if things fall apart. And if things fall apart, and I barely survive, I'm joking, of course. And if things fall apart, and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful for the skies up above. I Sitting on the porch thinking about my problems, wondering what to do. Bills to pay, aches and pain, broken hearts, sleepless nights. But a ray of light shone through the clouds as if to say, this is a brand new day. A brand new day. Oh, I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. I am grateful just to be alive. What are the things you're grateful? I'm grateful for my daughter. My life. Your life. Family. Community.
Music, dancing,
One another.
food.
Music. Norm, I wanted to do a closing prayer.
Great Spirit, we are grateful.
Oh.
We're grateful for this community. We're grateful for this message today, that all you ask us to be is who we are, and to take a hold of this one precious life that we have, to live it to our fullest. Thank you that you help us to move through the blockages, to shine, to be our most beautiful selves. In this moment, we ground ourselves. We feel our energy settling down and moving down through our feet into the earth. And we walk out into this day knowing that we are better for having been in this place, for having been with one another. Thank you for your blessing. Thank you for your blessing on Gary's life. Thank you for our falls that wake us up. Thank you for all of the energy that flows amongst us, that is the energy of love. We feel you. Thank you for loving us, healing us, bringing us home. Amen.
I am grateful for the skies up above. I am grateful, all of us, for the miracle of love. And if things fall apart and I barely survive, I am grateful just to be alive. Blessings all.
See you back here at about 3:30 to get ready for a wonderful experience at 4 o'clock with Gary. Go out and tell a few friends and bring more back with you. Hallelujah. Here we go.